Ladies and gentlemen, change is not just a moment in time. It is a divine moment that can either be embraced or ignored. But when you notice the signs, it's a clear message that your life is about to change. It's easy to be complacent and think that everything is going to stay the same. But I'm here to tell you that the signs are here, and they are not meant to be ignored. Life is full of signs that point toward the possibility of change, but too often we overlook them. Change is not a random event that happens out of the blue. It is a deliberate invitation from the universe, from God, or from the deepest part of ourselves, calling us to a higher level. These signs are like subtle nudges, leading us toward new possibilities and greater potential. Yet, we sometimes resist because change can be uncomfortable and the unfamiliar can seem threatening. But let me tell you, if you start noticing these signs, it is an indication that something greater is preparing to unfold in your life. Change is often preceded by a sense of discomfort, a feeling that things are not quite the way they should be. You might feel stuck, restless, or even frustrated. And in those moments, the temptation is to ignore the signs and stay in what feels familiar. But when you experience that discomfort, understand it for what it truly is. A divine invitation to evolve. You are being called to step out of your comfort zone and embrace something bigger than what you've known. That discomfort is simply a signal that your life is about to change. It is the doorway to growth. When these signs appear, it is important to understand that they are not random events. They are purposeful and strategic, meant to lead you toward your next level. Life doesn't just happen to you. Every moment, every experience is connected to your purpose and your destiny. If you pay attention, you will see that these signs are preparing you for something extraordinary. But you have to be willing to recognize them, and most importantly, you must be willing to take action. For instance, how many times have you felt a sudden shift in your circumstances? Maybe it's the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or the sudden introduction of a new opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere. We often interpret these moments as obstacles or setbacks, but in reality, they could very well be the signs of the change you've been waiting for. You see, these changes are often necessary for your growth. Without them, you might stay stagnant, unable to fulfill your higher purpose. The discomfort, the unexpected, and the unfamiliar are part of the divine process that shapes you into who you were always meant to be. Consider the process of nature itself. Seasons change. What once bloomed and flourished must die and give way to something new. The seeds of tomorrow's harvest are hidden beneath the soil, often out of sight but still growing. In the same way, the signs of change in your life are preparing you for a new season of growth. But growth doesn't happen without transformation. For a seed to grow into a mighty tree, it must first be buried and broken. Similarly, you must embrace the breaking process of change to see the beautiful transformation that lies ahead. Too many people remain stuck because they do not recognize that the challenges they are facing are actually opportunities for growth. They see hardship, pain, or loss as something to avoid or run from. But hardship can be the catalyst for the greatest breakthroughs. The most successful people are not those who have avoided struggle, but those who have embraced it as part of the process. The difficulties in your life are the very things that will shape you into the person you are destined to become. When you start noticing the signs of change, know that they are the tools you need to unlock your fullest potential. It's also crucial to remember that change is not always external. It begins in the heart and mind. The first step in embracing change is changing the way you think. If you want to move to a new level, you must adopt a new mindset. Your old way of thinking and your old patterns will hold you back. It's time to embrace a mindset of possibility, not limitation. Start to believe that you are worthy of the transformation that is about to happen in your life. The signs you notice are not just pointing to a new job, a new relationship, or a new circumstance. They are pointing to a new way of thinking, a new way of being. The signs of change also often come in the form of new people entering your life. You may meet someone who challenges you, someone who opens your eyes to new ideas and possibilities. These individuals are not there by chance. They are part of the new season you are entering. Every person who comes into your life is either a teacher or a lesson. If you notice the signs, you will begin to understand that the people around you are playing a role in your transformation. They are either helping you grow or pushing you toward your purpose. In these moments of change, you might feel a mixture of excitement and fear. That is completely normal. Fear often comes hand in hand with change. But it is also a signal that you are stepping out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. It is in the unknown that greatness resides. The fear that you feel is not something to run from. It is something to step through, because it is leading you toward the next great chapter in your life. In conclusion, when you begin to notice the signs of change in your life, recognize them for what they are: opportunities to grow, evolve, and become more than you ever imagined. These signs are not obstacles to overcome, but invitations to rise to a higher level. Life is not meant to be static. It is meant to be dynamic and full of progress. If you are willing to embrace the signs, you are opening the door to a new, more vibrant and purposeful life. Just as nature goes through its seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall, our lives too are subject to cycles of change and transformation. These seasons are not random. They are part of a natural rhythm that dictates the ebb and flow of life. Each season in nature has a purpose, and so too does each season in our personal journey. When we understand the seasons of our lives, we begin to recognize the powerful potential embedded in each phase. As the signs of change appear in your life, it is important to realize that you are transitioning from one season to another, a season where new possibilities and opportunities will unfold. In life, there are seasons of preparation, planting, growing, and eventually reaping. Each phase has its time and place, and each is necessary for the next. When we fail to recognize the season we are in, we risk missing the opportunities that come with it. Preparation, for instance, is often one of the least celebrated seasons, but it is the most crucial. It is the time when you gather knowledge, strengthen your character, and build the foundation for what is to come. In this season, you may not see the fruits of your labor immediately. It may feel like nothing is happening, but in reality, you are being prepared for the success and challenges that lie ahead. When the signs of change appear, it often signals that you are transitioning out of a season of preparation and into a season of planting. Planting is about making intentional decisions, taking bold steps, and setting things into motion. This is the time when you begin to invest in your dreams, whether that means starting a new project, taking on a new role, or forming new relationships. It is a season of action, where you must trust that the work you do today will bear fruit tomorrow. Just as a seed must be buried in the soil before it can grow, so must your efforts sometimes be invisible before they come to fruition. But after the planting, there comes the season of growth. This is when you see the first signs of what you've worked so hard for beginning to take shape. During this season, you may encounter challenges that test your resolve. The growth phase is not always easy. It requires patience, perseverance, and often a great deal of faith. But this season is essential because it builds strength and resilience. Just as a tree must endure the rain, the wind, and the heat before it reaches full maturity, you too must face your own trials in order to develop into the person you are meant to be. And then, after growth, there is the season of reaping. This is the moment when all your hard work, sacrifice, and faith come to fruition. It is the season of harvest, where you see the results of everything you have sown. But even in this season, you must be vigilant. The harvest must be gathered at the right time. If you delay or wait too long, the fruits of your labor may wither away. But when you recognize that it is time to reap, you seize the opportunity with gratitude and humility, knowing that your work has brought about something meaningful. In each season, there are key moments when you must make choices that will shape your future. Just as a farmer knows when to plant, when to water, and when to harvest, you too must recognize the timing of your life. There are moments to act and moments to wait. There are times when you must put in the work, and there are times when you must rest and allow what you've planted to grow. The key is knowing where you are in your journey and understanding that each season is necessary for the next. When the signs of change appear, you are likely transitioning from one season to another. The shift can feel unsettling at times, as leaving one season behind can create a sense of uncertainty about what lies ahead. But it's important to trust that these transitions are part of a divine process. You are moving from a place of one season into the possibilities of another. Whether you are in a season of preparation, planting, growth, or reaping, the key is to be present in the moment and to give yourself permission to fully experience each phase. Understand that it is all part of the journey toward your higher purpose. Just as the seasons of nature unfold according to a divine plan, so too do the seasons of your life. You may not always understand the timing or the reasons for each season, but know that each one is necessary. Every season is bringing you closer to the realization of your potential, your purpose, and your destiny. The signs of change that you notice are not to be feared or resisted, but to be embraced, for they are guiding you through the natural progression of your journey. In every season there is beauty, and in every season there is growth. When you recognize the signs of change, understand that you are being called to step into a new season. It is a time of new opportunities, new lessons, and new possibilities. The key is to trust the process, embrace the changes, and have faith that each season is leading you toward the fullness of your life's purpose. When you understand the seasons of your life, you can move through them with wisdom and grace, knowing that each step is part of your divine journey. Change often begins in the unseen realm, long before it ever manifests in the physical world. What we see around us is simply a reflection of what has already taken root within. Our thoughts, our beliefs, and our expectations are powerful forces that shape our reality, even though they are invisible to the naked eye. The signs that we notice, the subtle shifts and changes, are not random occurrences. They are precursors to the reality that is being formed in the invisible world. The world we cannot see with our physical eyes is where the true transformation starts. The invisible realm is where change takes place before it is ever visible in our lives. This is where faith becomes so essential. Faith is the bridge between what is seen and what is unseen. It is the knowing that what we desire is already in motion, even if we can't see it yet. It is the belief that the process of change is already happening, even if it appears that nothing is changing on the outside. Just as a seed must be planted beneath the soil before it can grow into a tree, so too must our ideas, dreams, and visions first be nurtured in the invisible realm. The actions you take today, the thoughts you think, and the beliefs you hold are all shaping the future that will eventually manifest in the physical world. The signs you notice, the whispers of change, are the first indications that something is stirring in the invisible realm. They are the signals that what you have been thinking, planning, or dreaming about is starting to take form. The challenge is not to doubt or become discouraged when things aren't immediately visible. The process of change takes time, and just because you cannot yet see the results does not mean that nothing is happening. When you have faith in the invisible, you trust that what is happening beneath the surface is just as important, if not more important, than what is happening on the surface. If you no longer meditate, one of the most powerful principles in the universe is that everything starts as an idea, a belief, or a thought. Before any physical manifestation occurs, there is first the invisible force that sets it in motion. This is why it is essential to monitor your thoughts, because what you consistently think about will eventually take shape in your life. If your thoughts are filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, you are unknowingly shaping a future that reflects those beliefs. However, if you cultivate a mindset of faith, hope, and possibility, you are actively drawing positive change into your life. Think about the power of vision. When you have a clear vision of what you want to create in your life, that vision begins to shape your actions, your words, and your decisions. But the vision begins in the invisible realm. You can't see it with your physical eyes, but you can see it clearly in your mind. And as you continue to nurture that vision with belief and expectation, the unseen forces begin to work in your favor, orchestrating events and opportunities that align with your desires. The invisible realm is constantly at work, and when you trust the process, you allow the universe, God, or the forces of nature to bring what you desire into manifestation. There will be moments when you cannot see the result of your efforts. You may take several steps forward only to feel as though you are standing still. But it is in these moments, when nothing appears to be happening, that faith becomes your most valuable tool. It is in trusting the unseen process that you align yourself with the flow of the universe and allow the invisible forces to work on your behalf. It is easy to be discouraged when the physical evidence isn't immediately apparent, but that is when faith becomes most powerful. Faith is knowing that what is unseen is just as real and significant as what you can see with your eyes. The invisible realm also plays a crucial role in shaping your internal world. Before external change can occur, internal transformation must take place. This is why the thoughts you hold, the beliefs you carry, and the emotions you nurture are so important. The signs you notice are often the result of internal shifts that are occurring within you. Your heart, your mind, your spirit. Change is often first ignited in your heart and mind before it shows up in your life. The internal world is the true place of power, and when you align your inner world with the vision you hold, the external world will eventually catch up. This is where patience comes in. Just as you wouldn't expect a seed to sprout immediately after planting it, you must give time for the invisible forces to align and the change to take root. The invisible is working, even when you can't see it. Just as a sculptor chips away at a block of marble to reveal the masterpiece within, so too are the forces of change shaping your future, even if it's not immediately visible. The signs are simply the first indication that the work is beginning. If you trust the process and have faith in the invisible, you will soon see the manifestation of what has already been set into motion. The key is to trust that the invisible is shaping your future in ways you cannot yet see. Have faith that your thoughts, your beliefs, and your expectations are working behind the scenes, aligning everything for your highest good. The journey may not always be easy, and the path may not always be clear. But when you have faith in the unseen, you are aligning yourself with the power that is creating your reality. Change is always happening, even when you can't see it. Trust the process and know that the invisible forces are preparing the way for your future. The change you desire is already on its way. The moment you notice the signs of change, you are called to take action. Change is not a passive process. It demands movement, decision, and courage. Too often we wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, or the ideal circumstances to align before we step forward. But the truth is, breakthroughs do not happen when we sit back and wait. They happen when we choose to act, when we move boldly in the direction of our dreams, even when fear tries to hold us back. Fear is often a companion to change, but it is in the boldness of your actions that the breakthrough is activated. When you see the signs of change in your life, it's not the time to hesitate or overthink. It's not the time to wait for a clearer sign or a more favorable moment. The signs are already there, and they are calling you to take the next step. Boldness is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move forward despite fear. The fear you feel is simply a signal that you are stepping into unfamiliar territory, and it is in those moments that boldness is most necessary. Stepping into the unknown is intimidating, but it is also where the greatest breakthroughs happen. You cannot experience growth and transformation without confronting the fear that comes with it. The moment you choose to step forward in boldness is the moment that the path to your breakthrough is cleared. Boldness requires action. You must take the first step, even when you cannot see the entire staircase. Too often we wait for certainty before we act, but life does not offer that kind of clarity. The path to your destiny is often revealed one step at a time. It is your boldness in moving forward that creates the momentum for your breakthrough. Each step you take in faith, in courage, and in boldness draws you closer to your destiny. You may not have all the answers, but when you step forward, the answers begin to unfold. When you move with boldness, you show the universe that you are ready to receive what is coming your way. Fear is natural, but it is not a sign to stop. Fear is simply a signal that you are on the edge of something big, something transformative. When you feel fear, it often means you are on the verge of a breakthrough. The journey to greatness is rarely comfortable, and fear is a part of the process. The difference between those who experience breakthroughs and those who stay stagnant is their willingness to act in the face of fear. The bold person does not ignore fear, but moves through it, trusting that the action will lead to progress. Boldness is not about eliminating fear. It's about refusing to let fear dictate your actions. Think about the moments in your life when you've had to take bold action. Perhaps it was starting a new job, moving to a new city, ending a relationship, or making a major life decision. In each of these moments, fear likely accompanied your decision. But it was your boldness, your willingness to take that step, even when you were unsure, that led you to the breakthrough. It was in that action that your life began to change. The boldness in those moments shifted the course of your future, and it is the same boldness that will activate the breakthroughs ahead of you. It is important to understand that boldness does not guarantee an immediate result. Often, bold actions are followed by a period of waiting, uncertainty, or struggle. But that is part of the process. The moment you decide to move boldly in the direction of your dreams, you open yourself up to opportunities that were previously unavailable to you. The universe begins to align with your actions, and though the results may not be immediate, they will eventually come. The boldness to step forward creates an energy that propels you toward the breakthrough you are seeking. Remember that breakthroughs do not happen by accident. They require intentional action. They require stepping out of your comfort zone, challenging your doubts, and moving with conviction toward your vision. When you see the signs of change, take them as a call to action. They are not invitations to wait or to procrastinate. They are opportunities to act. In the boldness of your actions, you activate the breakthrough that will change the course of your life. When you step forward with courage, despite the fear and uncertainty, you are showing the world that you are ready for what is coming. Boldness is the key that unlocks the door to your destiny. It is the force that propels you through the challenges, the obstacles, and the doubts. And it is in that boldness that you will meet your breakthrough. Your destiny is waiting for you, but it will not come to you unless you move toward it. The moment you notice the signs of change, take bold, courageous action. It is in that action that you will meet the life you were meant to live. As your life prepares for transformation, it is essential to understand that change demands new thinking. The life you are being called to step into requires a mindset that is expanded beyond the limitations of your past. The way you've always thought, the beliefs you've always held, and the patterns you've always followed may have brought you this far, but they will not take you to the next level. If you desire different results, you must be willing to think differently. Transformation begins in the mind, and for your external world to change, your internal world must first shift. When you see the signs of change, it is time to begin thinking differently, for your mind must align with the higher vision that is now being revealed to you. The truth is, your thoughts shape your reality. Everything you experience externally starts with the way you think. Your mindset dictates how you see opportunities, how you handle challenges, and even how you define success. If you want to move into a new season of life, if you want to see the manifestation of your dreams, then your thinking must align with the higher vision that is emerging before you. You cannot continue to approach your life with the same limiting beliefs and expect different outcomes. Change demands that you stretch your thinking, challenge your assumptions, and open yourself up to new possibilities. One of the greatest obstacles to transformation is the mindset of scarcity, the belief that there is not enough, that you are not enough, or that what you want is out of reach. When you operate from a mindset of scarcity, you constantly limit your potential. You focus on what you lack instead of what is possible. But when you begin to see the signs of change, you are being called to move into a mindset of abundance. This mindset is rooted in the understanding that there are limitless possibilities before you, that you are deserving of success, and that the universe has more than enough to offer. Abundance is not just about material wealth, but about an abundance of opportunities, relationships, and resources. When you think abundantly, you begin to see all the ways in which your dreams can come true. Changing your thinking also requires you to challenge the stories you've been telling yourself. We all have narratives that shape how we view the world and ourselves. Some of these stories are empowering, but others are limiting. Perhaps you've told yourself that you are not qualified for the next level, or that you will never break through the barriers in your life. These limiting beliefs keep you stuck in old patterns and prevent you from stepping into the fullness of your potential. The signs you are seeing are an invitation to rewrite your story, to challenge the false beliefs that have kept you small, and to replace them with thoughts that empower you to move forward. Your new thinking must be intentional. Transformation doesn't happen by accident. If you want to see new results, you must be deliberate in your thoughts. This requires you to cultivate a mindset that is focused on growth, on possibility, and on expansion. Every day you must choose to think in ways that align with your higher vision. This means choosing thoughts that inspire confidence, faith, and determination. It means silencing the negative self-talk that says, "I can't," or "I'm not good enough," and replacing it with empowering beliefs like, "I am capable," and "I am worthy of success." Your thoughts are the foundation upon which your actions are built. And when your thinking shifts, your actions will follow suit. It's also important to recognize that thinking differently means letting go of the need for perfection. A fear of failure can hold us back from thinking outside of the box and embracing new ideas. But change requires experimentation, risk-taking, and learning through trial and error. You must be willing to embrace failure as part of the process, knowing that each misstep brings you one step closer to success. When you release the need to be perfect, you open yourself up to creative thinking and new possibilities. The mindset that embraces growth and learning will propel you forward in your journey, even in the face of setbacks. As you notice the signs of change, recognize that the vision being revealed to you is bigger than where you've been. This new vision demands that you expand your thinking to match it. The life you are meant to live is waiting for you, but it cannot be fully realized until your mind expands to embrace it. You must step into the possibility of your future and let go of the limitations of your past. Change calls for new thinking, new perspectives, and a new way of looking at the world. When you begin to think differently, you will start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will approach challenges with a sense of possibility, not fear. Your mindset will become your greatest asset, guiding you to make choices that align with your highest purpose and potential. As you align your thinking with the higher vision now being revealed to you, you will find that the transformation you seek is already unfolding before your eyes. The signs of change are the indicators that you are ready for this new way of thinking. And when you embrace them, you will step into the life you've always been meant to live. Every change you experience in life is intrinsically linked to your purpose. Your purpose is not simply a personal goal or ambition. It is a divine assignment that has been woven into the fabric of your existence. It is a calling that goes beyond your own desires and reaches into the greater good, impacting not only your life but the lives of those around you. The signs of change you encounter are not coincidental. They are a part of the divine orchestration of your life's purpose. They are not meant to be ignored or taken lightly. Instead, they are calls to action, invitations to step fully into the role you were destined to play. When you start to notice the signs of change, recognize that they are aligned with something much larger than you. Change is not an isolated event or a random shift. It is a divine alignment that is moving you closer to the fulfillment of your purpose. Each change, whether big or small, is pushing you toward the person you were created to become and the work you were created to do. Your purpose is intricately tied to the experiences, the people, and the opportunities that arise in your life. Change often comes as a way to position you for your next step, to guide you toward the place where your purpose will be realized. Too often we approach change as something to be feared or avoided. We may see it as an inconvenience, an obstacle, or a challenge. But the truth is, change is often the very thing that propels us forward into our destiny. Without change, we remain stuck in the same patterns, limited by the same thinking, and disconnected from the greater plan for our lives. It is through change that we grow, evolve, and step into the fullness of who we are meant to be. And when you embrace the signs of change, you are actively participating in the fulfillment of your life's divine purpose. Your purpose is not merely about your success or personal achievements. It is about the impact you have on the world around you. When you begin to recognize that every change is linked to this purpose, you begin to see the bigger picture. It's no longer just about what is happening to you, it's about what is being created through you. Your purpose is meant to leave a lasting mark on the world, and change is the vehicle through which that impact is made possible. Every shift you experience is not only preparing you for greater things, but also equipping you to influence the lives of others in profound ways. When you see the signs of change, it is essential to take them seriously. They are not arbitrary disruptions or coincidences. These changes are carefully timed events that are guiding you toward the realization of your purpose. Sometimes, change will come in the form of a new opportunity, a new relationship, or a shift in perspective that opens up new possibilities. Other times, change may come in the form of a challenge or obstacle that forces you to grow and develop in ways you never imagined. But no matter the form, the underlying truth remains. This change is part of your divine assignment. One of the key elements of purpose is alignment. In order to fulfill your purpose, you must be aligned with the vision and plan that has been set before you. This alignment often requires change. As you evolve, your purpose becomes clearer, and the changes you experience serve to align your life with that purpose. Your actions, thoughts, and decisions must reflect this alignment. And the signs of change are markers along the path guiding you toward the place where your purpose can be fully realized. When you step into the change, you are stepping into your destiny. At times, embracing the signs of change can feel uncomfortable or even unsettling. It may seem easier to hold on to the familiar, to remain in the status quo, and to avoid the discomfort of growth. But change is necessary for progress. Your purpose cannot fully manifest unless you are willing to embrace the discomfort of transformation. Just as a seed must break through the soil to reach its potential as a tree, so must you break through the limitations of your current circumstances to step into the fullness of your purpose. The discomfort of change is the birthplace of greatness, and it is only through navigating these changes that you will step into the person you are destined to be. Recognize that your purpose is a gift, not only for you but for the world. The changes you experience are shaping you into the person you need to be in order to fulfill this divine assignment. Every sign of change is an invitation to become more, to stretch further, and to embrace the opportunities that will allow your purpose to unfold. When you take the signs seriously and move forward with intention, you are actively participating in the fulfillment of a greater plan. When the signs of change appear, remember that they are leading you towards something greater than you can imagine. They are guiding you toward the fulfillment of your purpose, and in turn, toward the impact you are meant to have on the world. Change is not to be feared but embraced, for it is through the process of transformation that you are shaped into the person who can make a difference. Take the signs of change seriously, for they are part of your divine assignment, leading you step by step toward the realization of your life's purpose. In conclusion, understand that change is not something to be feared or avoided. It is the very essence of growth, purpose, and destiny. The signs you encounter are not coincidental. They are divine invitations to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. Life's transformation is not a random event, but a carefully orchestrated journey toward fulfilling your divine assignment. Every change you experience, whether small or significant, is intricately tied to your purpose, and each one calls you to rise to a higher level of living, thinking, and being. As you notice the signs, recognize that they are not just markers of transition, but the very doors to your next breakthrough. It is through the boldness of your actions, the faith in the invisible, and the expansion of your mindset that you will walk through these doors and meet your destiny. Change demands that you embrace new ways of thinking, new levels of courage, and a deeper understanding of your higher calling. Your purpose is linked to the change you are experiencing, and it is in the midst of that change that you are being prepared to make a lasting impact on the world around you. So, as you stand at the threshold of transformation, know this: the signs you see are the keys to unlocking your future. They are not to be ignored or taken lightly, for they are the instruments through which your purpose will be fulfilled. Do not wait for the perfect moment or the absence of fear. Step forward in boldness and faith. Trust that your higher purpose is unfolding, and that each change, no matter how challenging, is part of the divine process that will ultimately lead you to the life you were always meant to live. Embrace the signs, take action with boldness, and allow the transformation to unfold. For when you do, you will find yourself stepping into the greatness that was always within you, fulfilling your purpose and leaving an indelible mark on the world.